want Card of Demise banned, like...
But I want it now!
YugiNoNo! Prepare! So in this video, obviously, we are going to be talking about Card of Demise.
No way.
So for those of you that don't know what this card is, what it does is it lets you draw until you have 3 cards in your hand. And the cost of this card is not being able to special summon the turn you use it, and at the end phase, all cards in your hand get discarded. Now, all meta decks special summon, even Monarchs. So this card can't really be played in meta decks, so it's not making an impact on those decks. However, one Cosmo Demise deck actually topped at YCS Providence this weekend. Let's just all hope that that trend doesn't continue. But this card is impacting the meta itself by making old decks playable and a lot of anti-meta decks playable. And when I say old decks, I'm mainly referring to Cleafor and Yosenju. Those 2 decks are probably the most popular decks that are being played right now that use Card of Demise. When you think about those 2 decks in general, they could play all kinds of traps and floodgates without any issue. Especially Yosenju, since all their monsters return to the hand, it keeps like drowning Mirror Force live, which is a total blowout. And then we have all sorts of random anti-meta decks like Barrier Stun that are made more playable and of course way more consistent by Card of Demise. So boiling down Card of Demise, what it's really used for is setting a lot of traps. And I mean a lot of traps.
It's a trap!
And that is most definitely the main reason why there is so much salt when it comes to Card of Demise. There are countless players out there that just hate set 5 pass decks. But player hatred of a card doesn't really justify it getting banned or limited. Especially because a lot of the same people that are bitching about the whole set 5 thing are the same people that bitch about a lack of diversity in the game. You can't have both, guys. You can't play an old deck that you love without expecting to play a lot of traps.
No!
Because meta decks are just going to keep getting faster and faster and more consistent, so if you want to play an old deck, you have to play a card like Card of Demise that lets you set a lot of traps to slow your opponent's deck down to your level. That is just how it works. Now, moving on to my next point, I am not saying that this card is fair at all, but I'm on the fence as to whether or not Konami's going to do anything to this card. On one side, I see where they want to sell new product and they don't want you really playing old decks.
Money, what? Money, yeah.
And if they hit this card, it makes it harder for people to play like Cleafor, for example, right now. But then again, I see what I talked about at the beginning of the video where I'm just like, well, meta decks can't really play the card, so why hit it? Because typically new bans and limits these days come from meta decks being completely broken, like Pepe is a prime example. And does Card of Demise really make anything tier 0? Hell no. As much as I think that this card can be broken, I really do want it to stick around. Because I kind of compare this card a lot to Pot of Duality. It's just a card that makes older, slower decks more consistent. And when a deck is made consistent, it is made playable. And seeing a random deck every now and then top a YCS or a regional is kind of nice. But those are just my thoughts on this card. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts down in the comment section. And as always, if you like this video, then dick slap that like button and subscribe.
Subscribe!